Welcome back to another installment of the Growth Mindset, sponsored by the Gainesville Podcast Studio. I'm your host, Nehemiah Harmon, and I'm here with an amazing guest, Dr. Neha. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell the audience who you are and a little bit about yourself.
So, I'm a pharmaceutical scientist by trade and education, and I have been an entrepreneur since then. And I believe my life's mission is to find the true healing. So that's what I do.
Mm. So to find the true healing, I would assume the opposite of that is there's some level of pain or discomfort. What would you call the true pain or discomfort? How would you identify it?
Yeah. So pain is of two kinds, obviously, physical and mental pain, right? We have actual physical things. Oh, my knee hurts. Oh, my back hurts, which we all have that at some point. And then there's mental pain, oh, I'm anxious. Oh, I'm depressed. And there are all kinds of flavors there. And once you have these two kinds of pain, life becomes slow. You're not able to be your true self. The pain just like makes everything hazy. And therefore, it's very important for every human being to find their way out of it.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
beautifully said. So let's talk a little bit about like your starting ground, right? So I always like to start with family history, as we would say. So tell me a little bit about your mom and dad.
Yes, they are actually why I am the way I am. So I grew up in a household with two absolutely opposite parents. Very interestingly, so my father is this pharmaceutical executive. He used to run pharmaceutical companies, um, absolutely convinced and a true believer in big pharma. So, needless to say, he shepherded me in a very, very, very profound way to reach the peak of what I can find any stardom in pharmaceutical industry. So that he was my godfather in my career. And then on the other side was my mother, who was this very spiritual, very beautiful and nurturing being who always used to say this one thing to me that Neha, a life that is not spent in the service of humanity is the life wasted. So that was the software that I came with, like be absolutely competitive and excel at the matrix. But whatever you do, make sure it's for to serve the humanity.
Excellent. What does your name mean?
My name means love in Sanskrit.
I love that. My name means God's comfort. That's
Really?
what my name means. It's Hebrew. Yeah.
Doesn't that actually mean the same thing?
Yeah. Yeah. So did you have siblings growing up?
I did.
Awesome. How many siblings, boys or girls? What'd you have?
I have a younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the big sister. You're the second mom.
I am. I absolutely am. And well, I have actually I look after him very fiercely. Yeah.
So what is little brother doing these days?
He's running he works in finance, he was doing a hedge fund and um what I want him to do is I want him to take a little break and perhaps work with hands. Learn to build stuff. We're all burned out at some stages in life. And so I see that I don't want to stop him from doing what he's doing, but at the same time, taking a little reset and then going back to something is always best.
Did you have any relationship with grandparents, either on the mother or father side?
Yes, my mother's side. They pretty much raised me.
So tell me about grandma or grandpa. What do you remember?
Oh my God, my grandmother, she looks tiny, but do not be deceived by her. She's a tough cookie. She really is. I mean, well, she is the reason I believe I get this like grit and resilience. Like, I think I get it from her. I'm pretty sure because uh, she also has been basically she's the one that taught me how to cook. without her teaching me her recipes that have been passed down in generations for hundreds of years would be lost, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because you cannot find that Indian food in any restaurant.
Hmm. And fun fact for everyone who may not know, Indian food is the spiciest food on the planet. I've had these conversations with Haitians and Jamaicans who think that they have spicy food, and it's like, no, I've had Indian food and I've had your food. Indian food is by far the spiciest food that we have here on the planet. It's amazing. I enjoy it, but it's spicy. It's one of those things that like you have to ask, like when they bring you the dish, like, is this spicy? And you believe them when they say yes. Or they says, oh, it's a little bit. It's like, okay, so it is spicy.
Well, it can be. It can be a spectrum of whatever you want.
Yes.
But you know what would be what we also have is we have yogic food. Not that will have no spice. It's just health and raw health and everything healthy you'll find there, but no spices.
Excellent. If you had to think about one lesson that comes to mind that you learned from your grandmother, whether it be something she taught you verbally or something that you just observed, what's a lesson that you take with you today?
Well, one thing that she always says is, Neha, always make sure that um, you always have well, it translates very differently in Indian,
Mhm.
but what it literally means in Indian is always have like the honey on your tongue when you speak to somebody rather than the ice.
I
So
like that.
if, right?
I understand. I like it. Can you say, do you speak the same language as your grandmother? Like,
Oh,
can
yeah.
you say it, say it in the language? I want to hear it.
Nimi Jibever Mudasabo.
I love it. And luckily I have this on video, so I'm going to practice it. I'm going to wow somebody at some point. It's like, this is the only phrase that I know. Excellent. So one of the things that you mentioned, and I love the way that you phrased it, was you said that your father shepherded you through, navigating the pharmacy industry. And I thought that was a very beautiful way to say that. Can you show a picture if you had to describe like what that looked like to someone else, like him shepherding you through it? What did that really look like?
So he's an Indian father, needless to say. He has ideas about what I should be. Now, I obviously, it's my job and sovereign duty to defy him. So this is how our relationship was. And to his credit, he has outsmarted me at every step until I start my own company. So I'm glad he did because I needed that and I appreciate that very much.
We're sending this to him.
Yes, please send it to him. I will never accept this in front of him, but but I guess never past that rebellious phase. So what he shepherded means, you see, this is something that all children need in their life is someone out who is an expert in the world looking out for them because they don't know what the hell they should be doing, what would be the greatest return on their efforts because you have a finite time on this planet. You're spending it on something. It better yield something very fruitful, very rewarding and profound for you in your life. So this decision is again, this is very important to have that right mentors in your life. So he obviously didn't know all the answers, what I should do. So he found people that did. So he would take me to meet all the industry giants, whether it was the president of Johnson and Johnson, it was like the owners of his company that he was a president at, and like all the people in between, the scientists, the board members, you name it. And we talked about like how I should pursue my career. What should I even pursue it in? And he actually got me uh, accepted at an American university uh, with a professor who, was a mutual friend of my father's, but a very renowned figure in pharmaceutical industry. He was a um, retired global R&D head for Novartis, which is a big pharmaceutical company. So very prestigious man. And I don't think I would have gotten in there without my father. And I skipped masters. So, another advice I got from, actually, he used to be an ex-president at
Mhm.
Johnson and Johnson. He himself skipped masters. So he's like, well, Neha, you can too. And there I did.
Awesome. I love that. So, what I like to do is take a quick pause and we're going to celebrate your family and what they instilled in you. So, big round of applause for mom, dad, grandma, little brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I think about community, that's normally where like the centralized, we spend the most of our time with them. And then there are people who know us in a different light. So we're going to talk about their influences a little bit. So when you think about childhood friends, like whichever ones come to mind, what are some of the lessons that you learned from, whether it be, once again, things that they have said to you or just observing the choices that they made? Because once again, we learn from the good, bad, and ugly. So whether it be just cautionary tales or if it's just like, hey, this person really did have good insight for the age that they have. When you think about, childhood, I'm saying, anywhere from little kid all the way to teenager. So all the way up into high school. How did your friendships shape the things that you thought and you believed and you felt?
Wow, this is going to be a very tricky answer. I did not go to school.
So little brother was your best friend in school.
Well, he was my tail, more like. I mean, I was too cool to be his best friend. But
Well, did you have other kids around you, like just growing up?
well, now I actually did not. I never went to school. I was a gymnast, so I practiced 8 hours a day, no time for school. So only friends I had was my mother and my coach, and they were not my friends. They were very strict about my regimen.
Mhm.
But I did have friends when I quit gymnastics when I was 15, like the last year of my, or like that was like my last year of high school. And I went to school. First of all, no one in the school knew that I went to the school for like last 8 years. So everyone thought I was a new admission. I'm like, nope, I was enrolled here. I just showed up for the exam and like left and like never knew, and nobody knew me. Um, but that first year, I just like went all in school, and I was like just so excited to have friends. I've always wanted friends, and it was really amazing. But what I did notice is, um, for the very first time, I was exposed to gossiping,
Mm.
and I just didn't know what that was. Because, the only women I knew in my life never did that. I mean, we would talk for hours, but like we always, like my mother would talk about like uh, how we can get better. Like that's all like, like something very profound. Like even as a children, she spoke profound things to us. We just didn't have time to discuss somebody else's problems because people have problems. It's not our gossip. It's not our entertainment to use other people's problems, as our entertainment. So that's one thing I saw for the first time, and it broke my heart. It just. Um, but that exists, and so I would like to give one message: is women have come a long way in the last, I would say, 1,000 years. Heck, even last 2,000 years. You know, and women should not be tearing each other down. We should be uplifting each other. We should be empowering each other to accept our unique gifts. So that is my takeaway and a message to all the women, because we still have to build each other to, create a world in perfect harmony with the men.
Mhm.
We're not rivals with each other. We're complementary, and we all must rise together to achieve that balance.
Excellent. I want to take you back to 16, 17, 18-year-old you. And this is the question, if you can remember that version of you. What did success look like? What did you believe success would look like at that age?
At that, okay, so you know what? This was a defining moment now that you bring it up, actually. I remember, I remember watching some of the most beautiful human beings, like beautiful in their soul. Like they genuinely had an impact on the world. They made their communities better. These were the kind of people my mother was mostly hanging out with. So I saw them, but one of the common themes that I always noticed was that they never had money. The people that my dad hung out with, they always had money. So you see the difference. People that actually are genuinely doing good in the world never have money. And that is what I was like, well, this isn't fair. How can we change that flow of money? Why is money rewarding a certain behavior and the other not, when it actually should be the opposite? So that's when that I want to be so successful, that I want to be a support to all these people, and they're free to do their thing because, it's beautiful. And I was touched by a lot of work that they did. And so I want them to continue it for other people.
Would you say that that thought process at that age of what success is, has it changed or has it simply evolved or has it expanded? What would you say success now? How does it correlate?
I think it hasn't changed. It has evolved more in granular detail. Oh, at first, I thought, well, I just need to make money and like help them out. And then eventually I realized, well, but I can't just make money. Like now my soul won't allow me to just like make money the wrong way. So now I must also make money the right way. And so, like, well, then how do you do that? And so the whole journey for the past whatever years, since that first vision came, has been about exploring that. How do we get there? And I still don't have all the answers, but I do think that more and more people are thinking this way. And so I believe, and I actually know, I know we're going to find the answer.
I love that. Love that determination in there. So that's a great segue to bring us up to speed with what it is that you're working on currently. Like, so what's the thing that you're working on? What are some of the missions that you're looking to achieve? Some targets you're looking to hit? So bring us into that space.
So our current work is to relaunch our company. So we have done song and dance with, I come from big pharma, so, I've been there. Disillusioned, walked away, started my own company, and I thought, that's it. I'm ready to change the world. Again, did a little song and dance with hedge funds, with the startup game, and then again realized that that's not the way either. If we want to do this, we have to do it organically. So that's what, to me, call to action in this moment is, I want to do this organically, and I want to do this with the community because this is for community,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just me. It's going to be a lot of people that have a similar vision. So what we are starting with right now is we start at Amazon, instead of like going through the retail distribution model, which is mostly controlled by big distributors. They have their, criteria of how your product should look before they can take it all the way.
Mm-hmm.
To like, well, nobody cares. Like it's on Amazon. It's on our own digital platform. It is what it is. What we are open to feedback is from the actual people. Like, okay, tell us what you want. What's the next thing that you would like to see? And I want to hear that over some rich, out of touch person sitting on his chair and telling me what the people he has no idea about want. So this is like a shift. So we're doing it with our hemp products to start with. But I also am launching a cosmetics because I want to have something for the women, because everything that women are using is very toxic. All the makeup ingredients are toxic and they're very expensive. So really my goal is to offer this cosmetics line to women at a absolute dirt cheap price without investing on a Meta, Google ads and take that budget and pass it on to the women that can afford it. So maybe some of the women can afford the higher price tag, but how about just, spread the word of mouth and think about the woman that cannot afford so that I can keep that prices low. So that's really what I'm working on currently.
I love that. What would you say right now? And this can be in your industry and your day to day work or your personal life. Where do you find your heartbeat of passion? Like when you think about the thing that is you're passionate about right now, where is that found?
Oh my God, my passion is so, so big. Like the vision is so big. Do you want me to share all of that?
Come on, bring it. I'm here for it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to put it out there. How about that? Because I'm sure that it would resonate. If it resonates with, any of your viewers, uh, then we have hope in this world, right? To come together and like make it happen. Uh, but I really want to live in the world where it's well, I think we all want to, right? We want to live in the world that has abundance, love, prosperity, right? It's not a dog eat dog world. And most importantly, it's booming with technology and innovation because what would we do without the innovation? I mean, we wouldn't be talking and, the listeners wouldn't be able to hear us either. So I think we do need the technology and innovation, but with the harmony with each other and nature.
What today do you love the most?
Today, I love
Yeah.
the most. Uh, ah, I'm actually loving that I'm meeting people like you. Yeah.
Hooray for me.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because um, for quite some time, when you are defying the industry norms, you feel alone in that journey. You feel like there's just, like, okay, I want, something that is like uh, beneficial for people, that is just, something beyond the profits, you know?
Mhm.
And so, it's like, but I was told that, well, Neha, that's not your job to think about it, just worry about doing, creating this and like, that's all, no more, no less. And I feel like we have, well, they are not the majority. People like this, people that think like me also exist. So we have a chance.
Yeah. Uh, you and I are both very divergent. So I'll share a little bit about, and I have some questions that's going to follow after, but I'll share this story that I oftentimes share with people when I go to describe myself, because I'm the type of person who just sits in a chair, lays down in the bed, and I'm just like thinking about me and all the choices I made that day and dissecting them. Is like, well, why did I do this? And why did I do this? Like, I'm very in touch with, the why I chose whatever I chose. So one thing that's very interesting is I oftentimes tell people that my parents, especially my dad, was very strict on me. And I realize why. Because as a child, this is like a real scenario. If we were kids in elementary school and the teacher gets up and it says, well, I want everyone to sit down. What my mind heard was everyone sit down. Nehemiah, you would sit down if you would like to. And it is absolutely like that's 100% how I normally interact with the world, is like I see it that way because I've started several companies, started several businesses, and I have an older brother who I would go to and I would tell him, hey, I'm starting this business. I'm going to solve this problem. And then he would tell me, that's a terrible idea. You should do this. And I'm given as an older brother who loves me, is concerned about me, and wants me to succeed and do my best. He would just lovingly tell me, this is a terrible idea. This will not work because XYZ go on list. And so all my mind heard was, perfect. So if I fix X, Y, and Z, you just told me I have 100% success rate,
Wow.
right? And so it has consistently been like that for me, is being a person to where,
Love that
yeah,
mindset.
given a needed boundaries, which is why I'm very grateful for my parents, is they saw this and I was like, this is a great gift that you have, but it really needs to be nurtured and have control because if you don't, it just does not work well with the world you have to be able to navigate in, which goes back to, one of my questions when you talked about, being in big pharma and being able to navigate those things. And when you decided, hey, I started my company, I tried it your way and it didn't really work for me. So I'm going to do something that's completely off the wall and different than what you're trying. For you at the time when you were starting, did you believe that you had to do it the way they did it in order to be successful? And did you find out afterwards that that wasn't for you? Or did you feel like you always knew that that may not have been the way, but you would want to try it because you're like, at least this is what they says I'm supposed to do?
Obviously, I believed it because I was so naive. I was just so gung-ho about like making medicines. And like, how do you make medicines? Pharma is the only way. I didn't know where else to go. So yeah, I truly believed what I was doing was going to change the world through big pharma. Um, I believed in their medicines when I first entered there, and only through my own research I started to question it. And I mean, that's my job as a scientist to
Yeah.
question things unbiasedly, because how else am I going to come to, or how else am I going to explore the depths and mysteries of this, universe?
Was it hard for you to, or I won't use the word hard, was there any resistance or struggle internally when you started to discover for yourself and find out the truth, but you had already been giving a truth to believe in, but this new information is contradicting it? Did you find an internal struggle of like, okay, do I believe in what I've researched for myself, or do I continue the status quo and says, well, this is the belief that was given to me? And I could, because I'll oftentimes tell people to relate it to myself. I always think about myself as having capacity. And so an example is one thing that's different from me and my older brother is he's very good at just doing one thing. And I do a lot of different things. And
Yeah.
because success for him looks like doing one thing, he oftentimes wants me to just do one thing because then it'll be successful. But I oftentimes tell him, like, you don't realize how I romanticize and fantasize about doing one thing, because I would do one thing so well. I was like, but I would be the only one who knows that I'm not even trying. Like, it's the capacity. Like, if your jug holds 1 gallon, I have one that holds 5 gallons, and we both have 1 gallon, I can't count that as equal because it's not about how much we have. It's about the capacity in which I have. So for me, it's like, I could do what you're saying. It's like, and I'm the only one who would know that I'm not even trying. And I was like, that's something that I couldn't live with. So if relating it back to you, when you started to know that, hey, this is what was handed to me, this is what they told me was true, what I believed in. But then when I start to seek it out for myself, I think I found something that supersedes this and I believe to be true. Did you find any type of internal struggle where you're just like, talk about it?
No, it was very difficult time for me actually, because like I said, it was very lonely time for me. I mean, when I was 8, I was getting interviewed for a local Times newspaper, and they asked me what I want to be when I grow up, and I said I want to be a scientist and change the world. And well, um, fast forward, I am a scientist. So like when I was like going to a pharmacy school, I was like, this is it. I'm here. I've arrived. That was my true moment. And I did really well in the first year. And then like something in me sunk, like my heart sunk, like it was not resonating with me. Something about the curriculum was not resonating. I didn't feel like I was actually making anything to heal anybody. So needless to say, I wanted to like get out of pharma like as fast as I could. I tried, but then my dad tricked me into applying for a PhD. It's a very funny story, but like he tricked me into a PhD, and he came with me to America because he knew I was going to run away if he left me alone. So he personally escorted me, got me enrolled here for a PhD, and then left. Um, and so yeah, so I feel like when I was when everything was perfect, I mean, I had a really great opportunity in hand. I was like, okay, I'll be open to it. It seems like this might be different than the pharmaceutical school, right? Pharmacy school. And so I started doing research, and again, it started to sink in like, this is so useless. Well, okay, I'm going to say something. I want to say something.
Say it.
All right. Well, the academic research is always looked down by the industry people because it really has like no real world application. It's basically just wasting millions upon millions in grants that they receive for doing the absolutely useless research.
Yeah.
And so like, and I was like seeing, well, can't really see any applications for this. But actually, thankfully, like at least my mentor was, he was a Novartis guy. Like he abhorred people that just did academic research. So maybe I have that biased view because of him, because he made fun of the academics. Because they don't really know what to make that has any real world value. And so, um, well, although he was like doing all the right things, but just something was just not clicking. Like it just felt like um this is not really healing anybody. And then I like somehow graduated. I was also like depressed, in the PhD, because it's very normal for everyone to be depressed in the grad school. Did you know that?
I believe you.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Why? Okay. Well, because oftentimes, actually no, pretty much always, uh the students' fates lie in the hands of the professors who are just absolutely power tripping. I am not even kidding. It is just extremely like, and yes, and I mean it's competitive. I love that. That it should be competitive, but there is definitely a lot of like power in the hands of professors. They decide if you get a degree, they decide what you can and can't do. And a lot of these professors use the students as as basically a slave labor to get out publication after publication after publication. So oftentimes they would delay their graduation just so that they can write more papers
Wow.
for the professor. And that's how it works.
So how long is it taking you to become a professor?
You don't want karma on your hand.
No,
Conscience.
not at all. Let me ask you this. Today, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of, I think, the resilience that I kept pushing. I was told no many times by very well-meaning people. Most of the people around me, if not all, actually, they were well-meaning people, but just within their worldview. And so, yes, they said no, like your brother.
Yeah,
It's well-meaning.
because they loved us and they cared about us. They're like, I don't want to see you go the hard way, but they don't realize the hard path was paved for me.
Yes, and to usher in something new. I mean, if the path was already there, what is your role there? So I think some of us do have that like responsibility to take whatever it is that like is our truth, and then pave the way. So what I'm really happy about is that like I kept pushing, and the answers have revealed. Like I agree, like I didn't know much, And I still don't know everything, but I definitely know a lot more than I knew like a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And I'm very grateful for that.
Do you know how I say that same saying that you just said? It's not as pretty as yours. It's just really short. I say, I know what I know, and that's all I know.
Yes.
Yeah. And I normally says, and it's enough for now. I'm always taking in more information, but it's enough for now.
But you
Like I
have to have
feel
that
it's yeah.
acceptance, you know? And like you have to celebrate a little victories of, okay, I did the one step. I'm one step ahead of where I was yesterday. So I'm going to celebrate that.
Excellent. Let me ask you this. What were throughout your journey from, all the way from childhood to where you are now in your career, what are two limiting beliefs that you had to overcome? And then tell me, how did you overcome those limiting beliefs? So what were two things that you believe to be true that you had to overcome? And then tell me how you overcame them.
You're really asking me very, very, very difficult questions. You know why difficult? Because I no, actually, they're really great questions. I'm going to say they're really great questions, and I think people deserve to know this. That I when I started my PhD, I was so over overwhelmed.
Hmm.
Like people around me seemed to know it all. I felt dumb. I don't know anything. And first of all, I skipped masters, so that doesn't help. And like I'm like the youngest person to show up, and um like I don't know. They're like discussing these like great scientific theories, and like I'm lost, I don't have an opinion. Like why should I have an opinion over this professor that is like so much smarter than me? That's what I thought. So I never had anything to say, and if I did say anything, I would like just stutter with zero confidence, like just wanted to just like hide somewhere and maybe run away, but like just my dad was paying for my apartment, so I could run away. So that's where we were. And then I actually thought that maybe I should get a therapist, or like I think everyone is on like prescription drugs these days for
Something.
anxiety,
Yeah.
right? Like it seems like the badge of uh, honor and achievement once you are climbing the ladder to have. But like something within me was like, no, no, I don't want drugs. Before I do that, I've heard that yoga is really helpful. So I'm gonna go try that. And my mom was very much into it. So okay, I'm gonna like give it a chance, really. So I went looking for a meditation master yogi, and I learned it from him. Like, you know what, if it doesn't work, like a month, I'll go. I can always go to drugs later, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Big Pharma's always going to have drugs for you now.
Yeah. So I'll give it a chance. We'll see. And yeah, I mean, I started at that very same time. Like, uh, I also lost my funding. And so without funding, you cannot do a PhD.
Can we pause here and just sit in it for just a minute? Because I want to pull some things out. Take me back to that moment. How did you feel?
I felt like my world is destroyed.
Mm. And once that feeling sunk real deep in, what did you decide to do?
I didn't know what to do. I thought that I was just frozen in time. Um, I didn't know what to do. So I asked my mom, Mom, what should I do? Because I would always go to her. Um, and she said, well, Neha, just meditate. That's all she said. You just learned this practice. Just meditate. Okay. It's by this yogi called Sadhguru. Um, very very credible, meditation master. Okay. I'm like, okay, I'm like I don't know what she's saying, but like what do I have to lose? I've lost everything. So I started doing that meditation practice, and within 7 days, I was like a different person. I went to the dean of our university and I convinced him to give me a fellowship that paid me twice as much as the funding that I lost.
Were you successful in that?
Yeah,
Look at you,
yeah.
rock star.
In like 7 days, all I had to do is just like take charge of like my mind, and like I just was able to convince him, like, to give me that funding. And, he was very gracious. I have to admit, it was a Catholic university. I believe he was a priest, Catholic priest. Very, very gracious man. And he really took me under his arms like an angel and, like, helped me when I needed it.
Yeah. So, what I'm hearing is one of the limiting beliefs that you had was a sense of feeling like the people that you're around during your doctoral, they knew more. You were somewhat out of place, then shouldn't have a voice compared to everyone else around. And you had to overcome that to, find your voice, find your placing, and find the value that you would contribute to the world. Like, how did you do that outside of just, going to meditation? Like, what was a mindset shift that you had to adopt? Because I feel like the feeling was already there. Like, you couldn't shake the feeling of like, I'm worthy and I do belong and I do have a voice. I just don't know if you're going to accept it. So what was one of the mindset shifts that you had to make in order to walk into the fulfillment of that?
That that deepest voice that wanted to make medicines, I need to trust that voice, you know?
Yeah.
I think, look, these are just the tools, for me to go back to where does that voice even come from? It's my own voice. Nobody's like whispering in my ear, like, Neha, do this, uh, you know, go like, shake that tree. No, nobody's saying that. But this is like my own voice that we all come from. And I think that is something that people really ignore. Like, what was that like? That like voice you had, that software you came with when you were like, I don't know, 8 years old, what you wanted to be. And so that finding that voice and not underestimating that and knowing that it comes from a place much, much more powerful than any people that are discouraging you, whether out of love or fear or malice. So to me, that was the mindset shift, is like just like coming into my stability and just trusting myself. Like, you have to trust yourself first before the world can trust you.
Mhm. I love that. It's beautiful. Since you gave me one from your past, give me one that's a little bit more present. What's a recent limiting belief that you found that you had, and how'd you overcome it?
Oh, wow. Recent belief that I had. Well, I had given up recently.
Let's talk about it. What would make you give up after achieving success?
What made me give up? Uh, I lost heart. Like, the only way to make money is to compromise. I don't want to compromise because my job is okay. Tell me, like, how many billionaires do you know from the history? How many rich people, like, are we like worshiping right now from the history? We don't even know their names, you know? But whose names do we remember? The people that have really like devoted their life for humanity. Now, their names we remember, right? Gandhi,
Yeah.
Martin Luther King Jr., right?
The impact.
Yeah. So, were they wealthy? No, they had no money. Those guys were poor. And yet we remember them. So, that is what, is more important.
So, what is the belief that you have now? If you were to sum into a sentence, what is the belief now? Whereas before, if I had to pick out, that one thing you said is in order to make money, you would have to compromise. So, what have you found to be true for you now? Like, what is the belief?
Well, you only have to compromise if you work with the systems. I mean, the owners of the system make the rules, right? As simple as that. Like, I'm entering your game. I need to play by your rules. I don't want to whine about it. Why don't I create my own game? Now, by me, I mean all of us. Anybody that does not want to play this game, let's start our own game. What's the problem? And the the rich people are less than 0.1% on this earth. The rest of us can make a game.
Yeah.
It's 99% at the very minimum of us, which, are getting screwed as, the world is just like chasing profits and, seeing it through the spreadsheets. And 99% of us are getting screwed. So why not we make our own game that serves our interest, serves each other's harmony, and serves, our environment, because, we can't destroy the one planet we have.
Awesome. I have greatly enjoyed our conversation. It is not over yet. I got a couple of wildfire questions for you. So the very first one would be, if you were meeting a complete stranger and the only thing they could judge you by is one song, what song would it be? You give them a track and they have 100% authority to judge you based off of your music selection.
Oh my goodness. I am so bad at music.
It's going to be a terrible first impression. What will it be?
Sorry. Oh, I'm going to tell you one song that I know. Actually, can I ask my husband?
Of course you
Alex,
can.
which song?
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend.
Which song for you?
Can they remember me by?
That's such a good question. There's lots of spiritual music that's very resonant with you, of being just a very, divine, just trial of God and really sharing a vision for a new earth. I think, I don't know. I mean, I love, I don't know. I love Stairway to Heaven because I feel like it's strong. It has that heavy rock and roll element, but it's also sort of has that aspirational lift. And so I don't know.
That's it. Okay, rock and roll. Of
Okay, rock
course,
and
my
roll.
personality is rock and roll. I mean, don't be deceived by my like calm demeanor. And then Stairway to Heaven. I mean, not whether we believe in real heaven or not, like, but there is a place where we can upgrade to, and I want to upgrade.
Yeah, I love that. All right. So, and thank you, Alex. Appreciate it. So,
Thank
here's the next question for you. So, we're going to hop in our time machine and we're going to go pick up a younger Neha. So, you get two options. You can pick an age or you can just pick a season of life. So, we're going to pick this person up and we're going to deliver a message to them. So, first, let's decide, are we picking up someone based on the age or a season of life?
A season of life.
Awesome. So I'm guessing you've picked the one in your head. So describe it so we know we have our coordinates. Where are we going? Where's this Neha at? Like this season of life, describe it.
Oh, well, I had just walked away from big pharma, a job that I needed, and I was really treated well. I mean, I was like really treated as a rock star. There, I simply walked away because I wanted to, pursue my heart. Uh, yeah, and my immigration was dependent on it. So quite a madness, living on the edge.
All right, awesome. Got our coordinates. We hop in the time machine. All right, so now instead of me being here having a conversation with you, she's here. What are you telling her?
It's okay. It's walk this path. Don't be afraid. What's the worst that could happen to you? Really nothing. So go for it because, they're not bigger than you. They are the billion-dollar company, but don't be fooled by that. They are not bigger than you. They are not bigger than your aspiration and your truth and your integrity. As long as you stick to that, you're protected by God.
Awesome. And then I want you to answer this. What is the question that she would ask you after giving that message that you then would not answer because you knew that she's just going to have to live it out? So what's the question she would ask after hearing that message?
Will I die?
Is life over?
Is life over? And yeah, I mean, have I been a failure? Like, how could I not make it work with them, But the truth is, Neha, you can't make it work with them. Your agendas don't align. You're going in opposing agendas. So what did you expect them to do when you're going against them? They're right, but you're also right in the path that you're going. So go for it. You're not going to die. Because if you were to die, it would have happened.
Cool. So now let's go into a paradox where then we're sitting here and then there's an older Neha, 10, 20, 30, 40 years into the future. She comes and you have one question that you want to ask her. What would it be?
How does the future look? What have we accomplished?
And do you think she would answer the question, or would she look back at you and says, I won't spoil the story?
She will never tell me. I know that because you know why? I think it's for my own benefit. Because had me here, would have told that Neha was speaking to all the things that were going to unfold. And, oh, wait, Neha, but you're going to start your own company, and you're going to like go on this like journey that none of my peers would get to see. And it was a very harrowing journey, worth it, but it was a very gut-wrenching journey. But you're going to make it. If someone would have said that to me, I would have died of paralysis. Like, seriously. You couldn't have gotten me to move even an ounce. So it was good that I was like blindly walking into the next steps. Only the very next step was revealed to me. So it's good. So I know that the future Neha would never tell me because like I would like again like die in paralysis right now. And because I believe that has been the trajectory for not just me, for the world, right? Like look around the world, like what has happened in the last like 5-10 years, like how much of like just mental like curiosity and awakening has just like exploded in the world. So like come on, like the best is yet to come.
Love it. All right, final question. I want you to choose an animal that would look at you and be like, that's my spirit human.
I believe it's a dragon.
So a dragon would see you walking and be like, yeah, that's my spirit human. Like that's who represents me.
I think so. I was actually born in the year Earth Dragon by Tibetan calendar.
So does your dragon have wings or no wings?
Of course, wings. I like to fly. Who doesn't? We all have watched enough cartoons to love it.
I think the coolest dragons are the ones that fly with no wings. I'm always like, how are you doing that?
Oh, well,
I like dragons with wings too. Like I am definitely the dragon with wing guy. But my curiosity, is like, how is this dragon flying with no wings?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter as long as we can fly.
Yeah. Your dragon breathes fire, breathes ice, or none of the above?
Fire.
Oh.
Definitely fire.
I love it. Awesome. So now the floor is yours to bring us back to silly or serious. And you get to tell the audience any message that you want to share. Tell them how they can connect with you, how they can support you. And one lasting message when end it off, what is one piece of advice that you would give someone about having a growth mindset, not accepting limiting beliefs, but striving to expand the beliefs that they have?
Whenever someone tells you no, what does your inner voice say? If it wants to rebel, then bravo. You are onto something. Follow it. Because no can be useful, like in your brother's case. It actually helps you avoid the pitfalls, but take it as that. It's not like in any way a hindrance to you following that first, aspiration that you had. So, yeah, I would say that.
Excellent. So tell people how they can connect with you and how they can support you.
Well, connect with me on TikTok, X, on our website. Follow me there, and I would love to hear more about what your ideas are. Like, what was your 8-year-old self like thinking you were gonna do to change the world? We all have that.
So as a kid, I was 100% convinced I was going to be the Green Power Ranger.
Maybe you can be.
Maybe I can be. I could probably become an actor and just like play out the role. But yeah, I remember like as a kid, they had these thing where you made a cutout of yourself, and then like you get to like color it into what everyone. So everyone else is like all the other guys picking like firefighters and police officers and like normal professions, daughters. I'm just like, yeah, Green Power Ranger. Like if there's a Power Ranger to be, like
So you wanted to be a superhero,
I
moving
suppose.
mountains.
I suppose, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, it was the Green Dragon Zord. That's what it was.
Really?
Yeah. He had a Green Dragon Zord, and so I wanted to be able to summon the Green Dragon.
Yeah.
Hey, are you familiar with the Power Rangers at all? Like the OG Power Rangers?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm gonna show you a clip before you leave. I'm gonna show you him summoning the Green Dragon Zord, and you'll understand why this is what I wanted to be.
Okay, show it to me. Maybe we're the same tribe of dragons.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for joining us for the Growth Mindset. Thank you all for being a part of a conversation. Go ahead, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join us for the next segment.